Moving on now to the University of Houston, head coach Tony Levine. The Cougars are 4-0 overall, 1-0 in the American Athletic Conference. Houston was idle this past weekend. They're in action this Saturday against Memphis at BBVA Compass Stadium. That will be a noon Eastern Time start and will be on ESPN News. Coach, thanks for joining us on the call. If you could take a minute to tell us how your open week went, and then tell us what you're looking forward to as you get back on the field against Memphis on Saturday, please.
Well, and again, the way the schedule fell, we've actually had 2 bye weeks already, so we treated it like we did the first one after the Temple game, and treated it like a typical game week. We give our student athletes Monday off, and we practiced Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We conditioned on Friday. Our staff went out on the road recruiting Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And again, started our preparation a little bit last week for Memphis, and certainly look forward to get back out there again Saturday with game number 5.
Take questions for Coach Tony Levine, please. Hit *1 on your telephone to join the queue, and the operator will introduce you.
We'll take our first question from Phil Stuckenborg with the Memphis Commercial Appeal.
Tony, how are you?
Great, Phil. How are you?
Good. I was going to ask you, I know I asked a few weeks ago about the play you've gotten out of John O'Corn, and will he be your starter Saturday?
Yes, he will.
And just describe what, I mean, for someone to, I guess, step in as he has as a true freshman, step up and excel so quickly, what has impressed you most?
Well, a number of things, and John, I said this actually, Phil, a couple times last week, just in passing to some individuals close to our program. As coaches, and certainly I think as fans of our program, you can quickly forget that John O'Corn is an 18-year-old true freshman, and where he is right now, he's a couple things that stand out in my mind about him. One is the poise that he has. Again, he's played in all 4 of our games. He started at the past 2. They've been televised. He's actually from Pennsylvania originally, born and raised, and came into that game up there on the road at Temple when we were behind. In the poise he's showed, the how calm he is in the huddle, if you will, and certainly when the ball is snapped, seems to make him be a lot older than an 18-year-old true freshman. He's made mistakes, and one thing that we talk about all the time with all of our student athletes is we understand you're going to make mistakes. We are too as coaches, and we certainly did as when we were student athletes, but we need to learn from our mistakes and try our best not to repeat them, and that's something that he's done a great job of. He's made mistakes, whether it's been in practice or on the field in a game, and he doesn't make the same mistake twice. So he's continuing to improve, and I think the way the schedule has set up for us with the 2 bye weeks early in the season, it's really helped us with our young guys, whether they're true freshmen playing, redshirt freshmen playing, or even true sophomores playing extensively for us to continue to grow and develop and get better this early in the season. But again, I've been impressed with John's play thus far, and look for him to continue to develop over the course of the next 8 weeks.
And that is something you don't know about a player until, I guess, he's under fire. You put him out on the field, just certain things like that, right?
Yeah, that's exactly 1,000% accurate. And really, Phil, more than that, you always feel great about your recruiting class that you sign in February, and you think you know what you're getting. You're very confident because you've been evaluating and recruiting and building relationships for sometimes 12 to 18 months on all these young men. But until they actually get here and you're able to coach them, you don't really know for sure. And again, we didn't start coaching him until 2 months ago, the first week of August. And So for him to develop so quickly, and it's a tribute to our coaching staff as well. But again, it's certainly a lot to put on the plate of an 18-year-old true freshman to make the adjustment, certainly to a new offensive scheme, and a tremendously much greater pace of the game that we play at, and the intensity and speed of the game that he saw a year ago as a first-time starter in high school as a senior. So, you don't really know exactly what you got till you get here, and certainly he's really progressed at a fast pace.
And what is David's condition this week, this week?
David will be out this week, and still undergoing our concussion management protocol with him, and we should be wrapping that up here today or tomorrow.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Joseph Duarte with the Houston Chronicle.
Hey, good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Joseph.
Hey, I'm just wondering if you had any updates on Kenneth Farrow, kind of through the open day, what he did, and how he's looking for this week.
We had practice yesterday. Again, we give our student athletes off on Monday, and we're except for really our starting quarterback David Pyland, we're as healthy at this point of the season as really in my entire time here, 6 years, as we've ever been. Kenneth Farrow is 100%. He'll play this week. Eric Island is 100%. He'll play this week. Eric Braswell is healthy. He'll play this week. Rowdy Harper started last game for us. He's healthy. So we're in very, very good shape physically. And Farrow had limited reps last week. Again, the bye week certainly helped him. And again, I mentioned we had conditioning only on Friday. They were off Saturday, and we had a practice yesterday, and he is at full speed.
Obviously you never want to have these guys out, but in the backfield, it gave Ryan Jackson an opportunity to get some carries and some reps. Now that you get Farrell back, you like that combo to begin with, but the fact that Ryan got some work like that, how do you think that'll help moving forward now that Kev's back?
Well, I don't disagree with you, but in the way I look at it, actually, I looked at it a little bit differently, because Ryan was going to play whether or not Kenneth Farrow was healthy or injured. So the way I kind of look at it, if you will, Joseph, is with Kenneth being out, it gave actually Kent Brooks, Justin Hicks, we moved Daniel Spencer, and he was getting 12 reps a game at running back, so it actually allowed some other guys more of an opportunity to play that otherwise may not have and develop it, if you will, which again, anytime you're backup, we could lose another running back here on Saturday, and now it's given Kent and Justin and Daniel, and obviously our two fullbacks in Luke Stice and Tyler McCloskey, some more game experience, which I think is invaluable, if that makes sense. So Ryan Jackson's still going to certainly get his carries and get his plays. We do a lot of 2-back and 3-back sets, so really I see it more as it's helped those other young men develop.
And you said David in the next couple of days will finish up the concussion protocol?
That is correct.
Okay.
And we'll take our next question from Jim Fuller from the New Haven Register.
Yes, Coach, you talked earlier about your freshman quarterback. You've gone starting a true freshman quarterback. I'm just curious, from your end of things, what advice did you give to John? What's the biggest concern when you saw a kid that was in high school last year up into a major college football game as a starting quarterback?
Well, I think and I'm certainly very familiar with it's Tim Boyle, correct?
That is, yes.
Yes, and he was an outstanding high school player, and really reminds me of John. I thought he was very, very mature as a high school senior, certainly very talented, and I think easing him in and continuing to develop him. When you look at what we did with John's development, kind of how our schedule played out, we were able to play him basically a half of our opening game against Southern. And then again, we went up week 2 and unfortunately lost our starter, David Pylan, due to injury in the first half. And because of the experience we gave John the week prior, he was able to go in and be successful and then slowly kind of develop. So I like how, Coach Wiest is now making that progression to Tim. It certainly gave him another month or 5 or 6 weeks to develop, learn their system, and adjust to the speed of the game. I think as coaches, sometimes when you're going to play a young man at that position, you've got to make sure they are successful, especially early in the game. So take some pressure off of them, and we've done that a little bit in our program, playing Greg Ward 25 snaps a game at quarterback as well. So I think that position is so important, but at the same respect, you can't. An 18-year-old's got enough to worry about with classes and study hall and workouts and the transition to college. You can't put the weight of the world on his shoulders so quickly, because I've also seen true freshmen have a negative experience early and not be able to recover from it. But I know Tim from the recruiting process and was extremely impressed with him in high school, and I think he'll do a fantastic job there.
How valuable is it to have that extra week, to have the bye week, to give him 2 weeks to get ready for all this?
It's extremely valuable, and again, the more, and this is a foolish statement I'm going to make, but because I think it's so obvious, but the more these young men play, the more snaps they get, whether it's in practice or in games, the faster they're going to improve, the better they're certainly going to perform. So. It's one thing as coaches you're always talking about is experience. Wow, this guy's got so much experience. And, again, to have an extra week to prepare, to get all those reps in practice, to continue the transition and the adjustment to the speed of the game at this level, because it is so much faster than the high school tempo and speed, I think is something that's invaluable.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have time for one more, please, for Coach Levine from Houston.
We'll take our next question from Phil Stukenborg from the Memphis Commercial Appeal.
I guess Memphis obviously had UCF on skills late in that game last week. And what's impressed you about what you saw from Memphis?
I think a couple things, and I'm going to probably start with their coaching staff. I think Coach Fuente does an outstanding job, and I think it's very impressive. Again, me being certainly coaching for a long time, but a second-year head coach, that he's got his entire staff back from last season. I think that continuity is something that certainly is going to help them in the long run, and I think it shows up when you watch them on video. Defensively, Coach Odom is doing an outstanding job. I mean, did a great job last year in year one there with the defense, and in this year they're not giving up points, and they're giving up, I think, 319 yards of total offense per game, which is outstanding, one of the top numbers in the country in terms of total defense. So they're extremely big, especially up front with their front defensive line and linebackers. They fly around. They're excellent tacklers, and they've got a very challenging scheme. And then offensively, again they're making the transition to Paxton Lynch, and he's another guy. When you talk about freshman quarterbacks, you see him on video getting better every week, making great decisions. I think they run the ball extremely well, and he's doing a great job understanding what their staff wants to accomplish on offense. So, it's again, we've got tremendous respect for Coach Fuente. They're this Memphis football team right now, and it is going to be another big challenge for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Coach, we've run over a little bit. We thank you for your time this week. Look forward to talking to you again next Monday.
Likewise. Thank you.
Right, and that is Houston against Memphis. That will be at BBVA Compass Stadium on Saturday. That will be a noon Eastern time start on ESPN News.